Jacob's first few years at school, he had a great time, ran around a lot and made lots of friends, had great teachers, but the learning was really difficult for him. And it was really evident as soon as he started primary school that he couldn't retain the information. So the little reading books he brought home from school and his spelling words each week, we very studiously studied them and went through the reading books each day at home as required, and he just couldn't retain the information. So it was difficult. And by the end of year 2, he was way behind a lot of his peers with his literacy and also his maths. When he turned 7 years old at the start of year 3, someone told me about SPELD. Now SPELD stands for Specific Learning Disabilities. That's where SPELD comes from. They're a charity that's been around for over 50 years supporting learners in this space. And so we had an assessment through SPELD and we found out that Jacob was dyslexic. So we got a big report, and it showed that he had strengths, so he was really strong in oral language, but all his literacy testing, his reading, his spelling, and even his maths as well, some of the markings were so low, and it showed that it was really difficult for him to learn because of his dyslexia. Through SPELD, we found a one-on-one tutor, Julie, who tutored Jacob for 3 years. He used to go once a week, and that made a massive difference to his self-esteem, and it gave him an environment where he could learn. She taught in a very structured way, so starting with the basics and building blocks from there. He could have repetitions so he could retain the information, and it gave him a space where he could ask questions and could get specific help. If there was specific learning, spelling rules or anything like that, Julie would work with him on those things. So I think Jacob, since primary school was really difficult for him, but actually as he's got older in the schooling system, they start to be able to choose subjects that are of more interest to them, and also he can learn some of those subjects a whole lot easier than some of the reading and spelling. So school has actually improved for him, I think, in many ways. Because there's more opportunities for different subjects. He's had really good support, and we've really worked hard to put him in schools that can really help him and find teachers that can teach him in a way that he can understand. And I've also taken a lot of time to try and educate myself to try and help with the teachers with teaching him so he can understand. So children in the school system, it's very evident now with research-based evidence that children should be taught, all children should be taught in a structured way. So it's called structured literacy. So that is really working in a very systematic way, learning in a way where they're learning with their sounds and working on top of that. I'm not a teacher, but I know it's a really structured way, and when Jacob learns in a structured way, he can actually learn and understand things. So structured literacy will also improve the outcomes for all learners, not just these children that are dyslexic. So it will make a massive difference in the school system. And these are the learners, if they don't learn in school, they drop out. Many of them can end up in the justice system, because if you can't read and write, if you think about yourself, you go to sit your license, you can't read it. You go to fill out a form for a medical appointment, you can't read it, you can't write clearly, you can't spell. It's really isolating. We need to invest in these learners and all learners to be able to learn how to be literate and how to have numeracy. Maths is really important for so many areas of our living.